And here we are. Not in the best of shape today, people, but comrades and friends, we're here. In spite of a YouTube ban that continues, we're here. Okay. So there's lots happening, Steve, huh?
I know too much happening. Um, I've heard some different things about this raid on this tanker. One, the mainstream media of the United States is saying it was a military raid, a military seizure of the tanker. Then I read it was the FBI who seized the tanker. Yeah, and that report is he's pretty good. Patrick Lancaster, people may know him. And he's in Venezuela or somewhere in the area. And he gave a different view of what happened, as far as who sees what, and they took the tanker somewhere, and what's going on with this oil. I mean, this is really kind of amazing.
I
Yeah,
don't understand, like this is a tanker off of Venezuela, coming from Venezuela?
yes, yes,
Oh.
yes. And it had Venezuelan, as I understand it, it had Venezuelan oil on it. Now, okay, let's say this first of all. We have got to do a better job of opposing sanctions among the people where we live, because the sanctions is what caused the whether you like it or not, caused the change in the Syrian government. The sanctions are what's going to change the government in Venezuela, or what is forcing it into this situation now. These tariffs and sanctions are just they are economic warfare by powerful countries against countries that are not that powerful. And that's what happens here. The oil has been sanctioned, and the United States says it's illegal to use Venezuelan oil. Well, who's the United States? So that's what's going on. There's this oil in this tanker was going somewhere. Now, as I have read up on it, and I'm not on it 100%, Venezuelan oil, according to what I have read, has to be refined in a special way. And it's not, I assume they don't have the refineries there, or because of sanctions, they can't run them or something. So they're on this oil is on the way somewhere to be processed. And the helicopter carrying U.S. military commandos seized this, took the boat. It was in international waters.
Hmm. Wow.
Sounds like Israel to me. That's what Israel does. It's just take anything they want, do anything
I
they
heard
want.
that if the United States was able to take a tanker like that and claiming that it's legitimate, Iran has taken a tanker as well, I hear, this week.
Well, good. That's fine.
Interesting.
That's fine. So that's what supposedly has happened. Um, it's really been interesting how it's covered in the U.S. media and among social activists. There have
Mhm.
been demonstrations. I just saw some. No, no, yeah, that happened 3 days ago. There haven't been many recent demonstrations that I know of. There was some last weekend, and they focused on Venezuela. But it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. As long as nobody dies, well, what can I do in a sense of the American population?
Hmm.
That's what I'm not saying the activist population, no, but the activist population is a little different.
Mm.
Um, Trump is bragging. Yes, some new Epstein photos have come out showing he's a pedophile. Um, it's just been, but there's some things that are being said on the internet that trouble me, but they're not being said by the Venezuelans. I supposedly this tanker is worth millions of dollars of money that the finances are a lot of money was lost. And according to one analyst, John Meschheimer, he's a guy from University of Chicago, he claimed this is how Trump wants to bring down the government, that they may not have to put boots on the ground, that the approach will be economic,
Mm.
which is why I'm saying the emphasis on organizing against sanctions. We do a very bad job of it. We organize against military interventions, but sanctions seems to be out of the reach or out of the purview of things to target that imperialism does. Yet most of imperialism is economic and political. It's not always military. And I think Meschheimer may have a point here that if they can seize a few more tankers and maybe take a few more $100 million or $1 billion worth of income from the government, they'll have no money. I don't know if that's true. Um, I don't know if I don't know if that's the only source of money they have. We need to know more about what sanctions are being levied against Venezuela. It seems like it's pretty strong, but our anti-sanctions work is very weak, and it's really a crime that we haven't done a better job on it. Because whether you like a regime, a government or not, the United States and Europe put the sanctions on the countries. It's not the third world, even Brazil. China may do it every now and then, but or Russia, but generally it's the United States because of the dollar being used as a currency. Don't use the dollars. If you don't use the dollar, they can't sanction you as easily.
Uh-huh.
But where is alternate currency?
Uh-huh.
I mean, or you trade in your own domestic currency. I don't know what the Venezuelan money is worth these days, but you still can use it. So
Well,
that's
Steve,
yeah,
it,
yes, sir.
couldn't there be, if the United States is escalating, couldn't R China and Russia escalate as well? I mean, like China and Russia have sent their navy into the Caribbean there as well.
Well,
Couldn't they
I don't.
escort, any Venezuelan tanker,
Well, that's. I mean, then they have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, since this has happened, then those governments who have the capacity to do that need to step up because you were seeing that that's a tactic that they're going to use. Or at least they have used the tactic. So let's see what the governments who are in solidarity are going to do about it. Are they going to go United Nations? Are they going to what were they going to do? I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know what they've done. I don't know
Hmm.
what they're saying.
Hmm.
But if this is the approach that the U.S. is taking, then clearly it is taking this approach.
The
Uh,
Venezuelans are solidarizing, with the Venezuelan government over this issue. It would seem. I've heard the report that Venezuelans, who may have been critical or who were critical, including the Communist Party of Venezuela, became critical of the Maduro regime. Nonetheless, they're supporting the Venezuelan government in face of the United States provocations. So
yeah, well,
that's
that's good.
that's
That's important. That's important.
that's doing the opposite of what the United States thinks that they're doing, because it's not going to undermine the regime. It's building up the regime. That's one thing I notice. And then there's also so many Venezuelan refugees, millions who have
Yeah,
left and gone to.
this is another aspect of this situation that the imperialists or regional countries, Brazil, Colombia, Guyana, forget about them. There's a U.S. puppet. But
Mhm.
the refugee flows should start to increase. This is something that this new national security framework is very interestingly saying that the United States is reasserting its role as the dominant force in the whole hemisphere, but immigrants stay out. We don't want you. So
Yeah, well,
yeah,
the number of Venezuelan refugees, some some like millions, have left Venezuela. It's being portrayed as being sort of a protest uh, by foot, that Venezuelans who oppose the government of Venezuela are leaving because they're so opposed to this Mandura
yeah,
leadership,
yeah.
even though it seems to have about half the support of the population. It's very divided. So it's contesting, being contested for that reason. But are these Venezuelans becoming refugees and leaving the country because of Maduro or because of the sanctions?
Well, let's be clear. It more than likely it's going to be because of the latter.
Yeah.
I mean, you can oppose the government, but are you going to take off and leave and have? Okay, it's one thing if you got the cash, I got the connections, I hop on a plane, I fly to France, I fly to Rio de Janeiro, I fly to, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
if you're gonna be footing it with a smuggler, you better really want to leave,
Mm.
right? I'm just saying, because as you and I know, going somewhere is not easy. Going to another place to live on using surreptitious means is harsh.
Yeah.
So you really want to get out of there. And I would think the sanctions and there could be some political opposition. That could be. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. No. But in this time, when you got the boats off the coast and they're messing with your money, who has the ability to leave? People with money. I would think only people with money can just hop on a plane. If you talking about going to the Damien Gap and come on, man, that's a lot to go through. And you're
Yeah.
not even gonna get in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I mean, where you gonna go? I would say Brazil. I mean, that's where I would try to get to. I mean, and if I'm taking off, and then what is the Brazil's immigration policy and
Mm.
practice? What's their stand on? Because supposedly Lula doesn't like, or Lula blocked Venezuela from joining BRICS. That was real smart, wasn't it? That was real smart of Lula, wasn't it? See, stuff like that is just stupid. Just get off, man. Block
Mm.
something because if he has some BRICS connection, you never know what else they could have now.
Mm.
You can't do dumb things. When it comes to world imperialism, you come to the United States, France, Great Britain, these major Japan, you can't be doing them that's going to help them in the long term. And plus, okay, here we go. What Abraham, what are the targeted countries?
Mm.
Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba. That's those are targets.
Mm.
Yeah, right. You see what I'm saying? One, two, three. If they win in Venezuela, they might win in Nicaragua. They might not. Well, it depends on how it's all played. But
Yeah.
as far as the economics goes, these countries who support them have got to step up right away.
Yeah. It
because
seems like Colombia is a counterweight, to
it
U.S.
could be.
machinations there.
Well,
Colombia is a
politically,
socialist government now, is it?
well, politically, you're right. But the U.S. military has always had close ties with the Colombian military.
Uh,
That's the thing about Colombia. That's the interesting thing about Colombia. Their mercenaries go to Ukraine. They get training on some other aspects of asymmetric warfare. Then they come back and work for the narcos.
hmm,
So you got, so that's, they got a weird Colombia politically, yeah, they have election next year. They're probably going to try to destabilize the government because they've saying United States has sanctioned the president of Colombia because it's something he said. You see the sanctions thing, man.
hmm,
That's I mean, AOC and those people should be talking about sanctions should be illegal. This you
hmm,
think Congress should be raising this, even if it means that they're defeated in their election, because it's
hmm,
become such a problem now. It's become such a problem that to not talk about it is you're being derelict in your duties. Our
hmm,
anti-imperialism must involve anti-sanctions rhetoric and
hmm,
organizations. And people in
hmm.
Congress who claim to be progressive need to be talking about it, and they don't talk about it. That's the issue with Nicaragua and with Cuba. Been sanctioned for 60 years of sanctions, 7 years of sanctions, 70, 60, 60, 70 years of sanctions. Yet you saw the best doctors in the world are in Cuba. It's amazing.
Hmm.
So
It seems like it is sanctions is the crucial turning point here
yeah,
in
yeah,
Venezuela.
yeah,
People are leaving, basically it must be because of the sanctions, because I
yeah.
don't think that the Maduro government is particularly repressive.
No,
I
no,
don't,
no,
hear
no,
about, like political prisoners
no, no.
or I
You
don't
don't hear
see,
about
hear about, people being shot down in the streets,
no,
for
no, you
protesting.
don't.
None of that is
No,
happening.
no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. And that's exactly right. You made a very good point as far as at least, and if it was going on, we'd be hearing about it because
Yeah.
they would make it up. If they'd make it
Yeah.
up if they could. So
Yeah, if they
that's a very
could.
good point. That's an
Yeah.
excellent point. Yeah, that's an excellent point. You just said, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
what
yeah.
are, what are they, shoving their stick into Venezuela for, like it's obviously, for oil and not because
But
the United States needs the oil, it's because the United States wants to control the oil. And
but Abraham, they can get the oil. They can negotiate oil contract. Ain't a problem. They get the oil contract. I mean, I agree with you, but I do think it's about the orientation of the government. Anything that has alliances. Remember this new document that even it's not really new. This new national security document. They're basically saying if you are friends with Russia or China, probably even France, or any
uh,
non-US, if you're friend with anybody but us, we're gonna give you hell. That's what that new
yeah,
document has said. We're gonna give you hell. So I don't think the oil is it because they can get the oil. You can sit down with Maduro, negotiate some oil contracts. Or U.S. There, Chevron is in. If Chevron is in Venezuela, you can get oil from Venezuela. Chevron is there. So so it's not like we don't want to we don't want to do trade. No, they will do trade with the United States. Remember they took over Citgo. That's the Venezuelan oil. That's Venezuelan oil gas station. They took it over. The
uh,
United States. They
uh,
just want they want no governments that have the legacy of Hugo Chavez.
uh,
Hugo Chavez
yeah,
and the Bolivarian Revolution. That's what they're against. So Eric, I'm
yeah.
not um,
It's
um,
a seems to be part of a world alignment that the United States wants to set up
right, right.
because this is my son calling.
Go on.
I am on a video recording right now. I'll call you back, okay?
Erica, come in. It's okay. Erica, come on in.
So, this
Erica,
alignment,
come on in.
the
It's okay.
United States is trying to
I'll cover it up.
impose. It's you know, uh, sort of it's a world strategy, in which there's these divisions being sort of imposed in order to create a rift between between the imperial centers, the United States on the one hand and Europe on the other, and they're contesting powers. So Europe is ramping up its military expenditures. The European Union wants to boost it to 5% from like 2, 3%. They're talking about conscription, military conscription in Europe. What are they doing? They're preparing for war. They're preparing for a war with Russia. And Russia's supposed to sit there and not, say anything about this, like really, like Europe is not capable of stopping the Russian special military operation in eastern Ukraine, the Russian-speaking provinces. So that were added onto Ukraine in 1917 by Khrushchev as a temporary measure. And Europe cannot take it. So they're preparing, are they? They are preparing for war with Russia, but it doesn't make any sense,
Well, that's
because,
that.
they couldn't possibly win any war with Russia, because they just lost a war in Ukraine
Wait a
with
minute.
Russia.
Wait,
So,
wait.
like it's insane. It's really sort of irrational, all this sort of a desperate, political maneuverings,
Right.
military prowess and all this sort of stuff.
What?
This, like the bleatings of a dying pig, basically, is when I see this is happening.
Well, wasn't there a meeting? Wasn't there a meeting? It was in the news because this was a meeting that either look Macron was having with somebody or some French cabinet minister was having with some of their constituents. And they were saying we gotta fight Russia. And the people just went off. They said, we ain't going for that. Oh, I know. I mean, so okay, maybe you'll find some desperate Brits, some desperate Poles. The Poles will fight. The Poles even said they would shoot down Putin's plane if it was going over Polish airspace to some meeting. That meeting they're going to have in Budapest, where they're going to have that conference. And
Hmm,
Poles basically said they would shoot down the plane. So they'll fight. But
hmm.
do they want to get it on with Russia? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
What they all got to remember is Russia been and Ukraine too. I got to give them some credit. They've both been fighting for three, some odd 4 years. So both of them have armies that kind of know what they're doing. Okay, we've been fighting 3 or 4 years. You got the kinks out of the armor. You do certain things well, certain things you still might not doing well, but you know how to fight. You know how to fight. You've been fighting 3 years, so you got some fighting in your system. I wouldn't mess with them. Hell no, I'll leave them alone because the people who taught me to take fight in Russia have not been fighting for 3 or 4 years straight. They don't have their capacity to produce the weapons, capacity to do the propaganda, capacity to heal the boys who get sick, who get maimed and wounded and injured. I mean, let's say you have 1,000 French soldiers die, man, the whole government may fall.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. You have 500 French soldiers dead, man. That may be
Yeah.
in the whole. You may have a second Paris Commune. I mean, that's gonna be it.
Yeah.
The French, they ain't gonna be dying for nobody. Oh no, 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 no. They don't know. Parlez-vous français? No, no, no. They don't. No, Germans too. They ain't stupid. I mean, they try to enjoy Berlin and have a good time. Okay,
Yeah.
so are the European people going to accept body bags? I don't think so. They don't have to fight Russia. They can be friends. They can do business. They can do trade. That's the thing about we want to fight Russia. That is just maybe Kalakalis, that Soviet Russia hating woman. She just hates Russia just because it's in her DNA. I mean, her and Van der Laan, and
Hmm.
these guys and these NATO chiefs, the ones who were trying to use the money they stole that Russia had in the banks, use that as collateral against a loan, which you can't do. So, those people want the war with Russia, but they don't.
Hmm.
All Russia got to do is send a couple of Oreshnik missiles over there, and it's over.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, no, seriously. Let's just be straight. The U.S. will be involved, of course. They always involved in all this nonsense. But do you see the people? Maybe some Brits may want to die, maybe not though. But French, oh no, they already told them what we gonna fight Russia for. That's
Mm,
just dumb. So if
mm,
that's the people of Europe have got to tell they got to not let the soldiers have refused to fight. The people got to rise up. We ain't going to the Russian war. Well, for what? For what?
yeah.
Really, like for what? Russia's going to
Mm,
get some deal with the Donbass. That's going to happen eventually. Okay, like it or not, that's going to happen. Okay, then forget about it. It's over. Let's go back to business as usual. Open up the open up the airplane routes again, please. Can we please have our money back, please?
mm,
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Let's go back to business as usual
mm,
because eventually they're going to win unless somebody decides to nuke the Kremlin, and then it's all over for the whole world. You know,
mm,
I mean, that's how I see it, man. When I heard
mm,
about the people saying they had the meeting and said, "Oh no, we ain't going to fight. No, we got to go to war with Russia." No, no. Why?
mm,
Some mercenaries may want to go fight, but they're dumb because all they fighting for is the money. And once they get caught, they can put them in jail for 20 years.
mm.
Anyway, I'm sorry to rant, but I just
Yeah, it's all true.
I mean,
And
some of
but the people are poised to take a step forward here. In France, there's going to be elections. And the new Popular Front or Insoumise coalition, United Front, they're ready to take over the government. It's just the president won't let them take over the government, even though they're the largest political party. The media keeps on talking about the rise of the right wing, who are going to take over the governments of Europe. That's polarization. It's called polarization. And the liberals, in the center right, and center left, they're disappearing, and there's a polarization taking place, and the fascists are in the minority. So, that's not the right wing taking over Europe. That's the right wing desperate, and trying to hold on to, the remnants, of the popular support that they had from before. That's all. And in Ukraine, they're being forced to talk about sketching an election now, because as Putin points out, how can they make a peace treaty with a political representative who has no political authority, to do so? Because, like there's been no election, and it's unlikely that Zelensky would be elected, to be the president of the Ukraine again. So all that is ready to happen, and then that'll undercut, the whole drive to war with Russia.
yeah.
No way can Europe pull this off.
Oh,
European aristocrats, are gone. They're obsolete. They are past due. They are rotten.
yeah. There's yeah. That's they're yeah. The whole thing about fighting war with Russia, I don't. That's wow. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, it's laughable.
Yeah.
It's really laughable. The thing, I mean, I'm not trying, I'm sitting here talking to somebody on the internet on a, on a Zoom conversation. So I'm not making world policy. I'm not, I don't have an army behind me or a government that's elected me, or I'm not part of a government. But the thing about the European countries, I mean, some like Finland. Some of them are just, they're living in the past
Mm,
when they had wars with Russia and maybe got had a few victories or two.
yeah.
No, maybe they won a battle here and defeated them there. But like I said, they've been fighting 3 years straight, man. They got the armaments, they got the system, they got the capacity to make the weapons, they got the people behind them. And
Oh,
if
their
you
production, war production facilities are incredible now in Russia.
and
That's the
yeah.
industrial base of Russia is now based upon war production.
Plus, they got the drones, man. They got the drones, man. Drone manufacturing on a
Yeah.
large scale. They got that down. When the war first started, they didn't have that in 22. Since 25, they got them drones down. Okay, they got the drones. I mean, So, do you want some drones flying over the Champs-Élysées in France? Do you want that? No, I mean, I'm just saying, do you want something like that? I don't think so. You're just dumb. That's just dumb. Somebody wants to make some political statement. I hate Russia. Now let's go kill them. No, you go fight. So if you want to fight so bad, you go fight. I'm gonna sit here and watch you. Go on. I'm gonna sit here and watch your dumbass go fight some Russian. You out of your mind?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I don't know. I mean, I mean, if they wanted to do it, if they really wanted to do it, they would send troops right now to support Ukraine. If you really want to fight so bad, then go to Ukraine and fight. You do that. Send your
Mm.
armies. That might,
Yeah.
I mean, that might make more political sense to say we're gonna take on Russia. How? Man,
Hmm.
man,
Well,
you know.
oh,
I'm sorry I would laugh about that, but I don't. I mean, ten, tell Kalle Kallis and Mark Rutte and Ms. von der Leyen to go fight. Give them some training. Give them a
yeah.
gun. Give them, give them some body armor. Give them a tank.
Oh, yeah, be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, give them. Here's your tank. Here's your weapons. Here's your, here's your satellite data. Go
Yeah.
fight. See you around.
And if they try to institute conscription there in Europe and try to force people to
Mhm.
fight against
No,
Russia, like
no problem
that
with
would just create revolutionary conditions. They'll be gone.
that. Man, man, you see how the people fight the TCC in Ukraine? How the women get up and they try to pull them out the car and they have to grab people and throw them in the cars and
Yeah.
we've all seen those videos. We've all seen those videos, right? Imagine what they're
Yeah.
going to do in Germany, in France, in Switzerland, and I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
No, this is a dumb idea. But you know what? It might get traction. That's the problem. The politics in Europe is so backward. So
Yeah.
what's her name? Sarah, this politician in Germany. What is she saying about this? Remember, she has a party named after her. Sarah Sound or her name.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. She's been very successful because she's to the left of the Green Party,
Right, she
because the
left
Green
the
Party
Green
wouldn't
Party.
come out
Come
against the
on.
war in Ukraine, so she did. And
Yeah.
then brought all the opposition to the fore. Yeah, she's been very successful. Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
So you
But
have
the
people
media
who,
still keeps on talking about the AfD, the alternative for Germany, like
okay,
right-wing
well,
party. And even Russia today gives them, like a platform to talk.
Oh, that's yeah. But does AFD want to fight Russia? No, no,
Oh, no way.
no. There's no way. There's no. I'm telling you, find me five parties in power with people. Yeah, let's look at. We looked at Italy, France, Germany, UK. Who else? Who else? Poland. Okay, Poland. Let's just say Poland. Okay. Or Latvia, Estonia. Those idiots. I'm sorry, but the stuff they do is just so stupid. Their connection with the United States is just so awful. I mean, they're just lapdogs. I mean, they're really bad. You know, is Greece gonna fight Russia? You out of your mind? Come on. Belarus might be dumb enough to try it. They may jump in there because not Belarus. The one who's fought Azerbaijan. They're kind of on the fence. And now you have a new president in Serbia, right? He new president of Serbia. We don't know what they're gonna do, but to
Mm,
fight Russia, it might. They have deals with Russia. Azerbaijan don't like Russia right now. They don't.
mm,
And also Armenia. They kind of took a right word. So they may have some issues, but are they going to want to go to war?
mm.
That involves killing somebody, being killed, being bombed. All this spying, assassinations. I mean, seriously, it's a lot to go to war.
Yeah. It's so funny, because the fascists, are smart enough not to want to go to war. And the liberals, are the ones who actually want to war, because they think that they can win. Like they sort of talk themselves into believing that they have the ultimate power still in the world, in their hands, when they, in fact, they have nothing. Europe is declining. They're just, like a younger sibling, to the United States, and they're being sort of, deprived of all their toys now. United States is not going to be sort of backing them up, for any military adventures. So they think that they can get away with it on their own.
I,
That's really sort of, like
well,
reactionary in the literal sense of the term, because they think that they're living, like 50 years ago or something like that.
that's a very good, but see, here's the problem with with Venezuela. Let's go back to Venezuela. They are living like they lived 50 years ago. That the whole program is like 50 years ago. We run it. You're a banana republic or old republic. We put somebody. I tell you to step down from power. Who the hell are you to tell me to step down from power? Who are you? I mean, no. Think about it. I'm elected, whether you like my elections or not. Okay. If there's a revolution against me by the people, okay, that's one thing. Like in Tanzania, they need a revolution right now in Tanzania. It is not good what you're seeing from Tanzania. They gun down the people. Okay, but you ain't telling her to step down. No. Okay, you're telling Maduro to step down. Okay. But that's a 50-year. That's an old school, man. This is 23. This is 20. This is 20, 25. So 50 years was 70 in the 70s. They were still pulling that crap. Sandinistas had come up. They were still having in Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala. They were still, they were telling you that those guys are carrying out death squads, the death squads in El Salvador and in Guatemala. Oh man, just wiping out the native people, man. That's what they were doing then. The Brazilians, the Argentinians were throwing leftists out of airplanes inside the ocean.
Uh,
That guy. So yeah, so they still were doing that stuff. So it is 50 years. The turn on thank you. The turn on Venezuela is turning the clock back. Yeah, 50 years. That's a very good
yeah.
observation. Yep, it is. You're right.
That reminds me of where was it in Chile?
Right.
Um, the number of uh, dissidents, that were, done away with, just thrown into the sea from a helicopter and stuff like that. There was a statistic that I saw that was raised in that, the number of Jewish radicals that were thrown away like that was like 20%, even though the Jewish people are only like 1% of the population there. So it was a disproportionate attack upon the Jewish Chileans while Israel was backing the regime, like backing an anti-Semitic regime like that. Israel couldn't care less about the Jewish people. Israel cares about Israel as a state, and that's it. That's all. It's pathetic. And the Israelis, like until recently have been going along with it. Now, Netanyahu's lost it. He doesn't even have a majority in the Knesset anymore. That government could fall any day now. But they keep on maneuvering, keep on surviving. They're so desperate. They're on a defensive posture on a continual basis now, the right wing, and could break. Depends upon, how the opposition organizes itself. However, in the state of Israel, amongst the Israeli civil society, there is no anti-Zionist Jewish party. Like they're all Zionists. They all follow the same line. They all support each other basically, when it comes down, to the questions of war and peace. The left wing is as much a warmonger as, the right wing is there. So there has to be some sort of, like a break happening there within the Israeli political culture. And I intend to go and make sure that that break happens. So, looking forward to what's possible. And on a world scale, it seems that we have the same sort of, balance of forces in that the forces of opposition to the reactionary regimes is growing. There is popular support, not enough to make any revolutionary changes, but enough to restrain the fascist regimes that are in place, that cannot sort of carry through with their program because they know that they would be undercutting themselves if they were to do so because they don't have the support. So that's where we are at nowadays, here and now. And something's going to break. We're at a point of a breaking point. It's coming
Yeah,
up.
yeah, something's gonna break. I agree. No, I agree. Yeah, something's gonna break. I agree.
Okay,
I
so
just
that's something to look forward to. So it's been great to speak with you again, Steve. You know how long we've been going on for? 4 years or so. We've been doing 4 years of analysis here for people.
man, that's it. Keep it up. We
Yeah.
gotta keep it up. Keep it up. I appreciate this. I look forward to it every week, and I'm glad. I hope that our listeners and viewers will like and share and spread the word and send comments.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we're like fighting an undeclared war, and that's why YouTube, shut
Yeah,
me down.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. You're right.
But we continue.
We continue. Okay,
Nothing's going to stop us.
that's right. That's right.
Very good. Okay, so we'll get this up and up and out,
All right.
and then we'll be back next week again. Okay, thanking you, Steve, for your analysis,
Thank you.
and this is the way it goes. We start small, and how does it become big? Because you know, and people want to know, what's going on. They don't want any fairy tales. They don't want any sort of, empirical, oh, this what happened here and this happened there. Enough of this journalism. We know that there's genocides happening all over the place.
What we gonna do
Now
about
we need to know what the action is, in order to
right,
stop those
right,
genocides from going
right,
on.
right, 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 right. Okay. Thank you.